Hi, good evening, everyone. I thought we'd do a nice, gentle introduction to Overwhelm, Overloaded, and Over Here, rather than my normal and usual dive and jump around and high energy QCTV. So, thank you guys. Thanks for joining me for this session. We're going to take about an hour, so I'm going to run through a few things with you, and we are going to do loads and loads of questions at the end. So make sure you get them all sorted. We'll try and keep it low key if we can. But of course, you know what I'm like. I might start jumping around, might start getting excited because there's lots of positives to dealing with overwhelmed, overloaded, and as we've called this one, over here. Okay. So we're going to do it like a presentation basis, and we're going to make sure that we cover all the important areas. Now, first of all, please make sure that you've got yourself a pen and a pad. Make plenty of notes because I want you to ask lots of questions at the end. And I also want you to leave this workshop with knowledge, with understanding, and with confidence that you can change some parts of your life, some parts of your business for the better, which will help you progress. Okay, that's what this is all about. So you got your pad, you got your pen, and if you've got time, share this link with others. They've still got time to actually either dive in here very, very quickly, or if you want to share this after the event, you can as well. And we'll make sure we send them a recording as long as they sign up, because the more people that get to benefit from this, the better. Now we are running through StreamYard, and there is an option for you to let StreamYard know your name. If you can see that link, click that one. If you can't, don't panic too much. We are only in one group tonight, and it is very, very private. It is just a few of us talking about a really, really important matter. Keep your questions right to the end. I don't want to keep stopping. I want to make sure that everyone gets their questions answered, though, and I promise I will answer them at the end. And please, at some stage during this process, even at the end, check out our Massive Not Passive membership link, which is now open, because that will really help you with lots of the practical things. I'm going to keep this group open for just 2 weeks. It's a pop-up group for the purpose really of talking about stress, but talking about things that will help you develop and change your business. I'm going to keep it open for a couple of weeks, put lots and lots of questions in here, ask each other, help each other, and I'll be sure to be around to help you as well. If you exit this session with more stress than you started, I'm pretty sure you won't. But if you find that some of the things that I'm suggesting might not be enough to get you onto your first step, then please contact us. Please inbox us. We'll put you in touch with a mental health professional. Okay, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm a business coach, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that now. But first of all, let's tell you what we're going to do in this session. We're obviously going to do an introduction. I've already started work on that with you. We're going to talk about the difference between overload and overwhelm. That's really, really important that you understand that they may be different things. We're going to look at recognizing the symptoms so you can recognize this in yourself. Sometimes that is the problem that we don't actually see, that we're overloaded or overwhelmed. We're going to talk about things to avoid. So these are kind of, they're still positive actions. The fact that you're avoiding them doesn't make them negative. These are still positive actions. And then I'm going to give you at least one or two areas of or areas, actions that you can consider taking. And I highly recommend that you do. And then we'll summarize and we'll do all our questions. Okay, so hopefully those who are joined us are with us now. There's a lot more people who have signed up to be in here, not with us yet, but those people can catch up on recording. The beauty of being here now and live is you get to have all of your questions answered. Now, most people have been watching you signing up, know who I am, but there are quite a few also. Some of you from overseas, so thank you for joining us who don't know about me, don't really know what I do or where I've been or anything like that. So I'm a business coach. Okay, I'm a sales strategist coach. If you really wanted to kind of niche me, if you really want to kind of drill me down, I help salons build their sales. Okay, now salon spas, clinics, and more freelance individuals and renters or booth renters um, find a real benefit in a lot of my materials as well. Because at the end of the day, you're all business owners. Yeah, you're all business owners. And in this situation, on this session, you all have to deal with stress at some level. Okay. I'm also the online coach for Massive, Not Passive, which is our little kind of private membership group where we all work together on some very important materials. I've been coaching, I think, unofficially for well over 15 years. I have built a chain of salons. So if you're wondering, how can he even know how we feel? That's all he does is help other people. Well, I had 4 salons. I built them from nothing. Trust me, I know all about business stress, overload, and overwhelm. Okay, I have that T-shirt for sure. I also developed a training academy, so I see things just outside of the salon business, and I've also worked for 3 of the biggest retailers, okay, in the UK. So when I was operating with them as a middle manager, then I really did find out what stress was. But I was working for someone else, and when you're working for someone else, there's always kind of someone else to take the pressure, isn't there? Okay, so let's get started on this. First of all, let's have a look at overload versus overwhelm, if we want to call it that. So overload is usually when it is what it says, right? You could be overloaded without being overwhelmed, without being stressed per se. And if you're very ambitious, you can actually create that for yourself. If you're very ambitious, if you want to get things done, if you look into the future, if you know, the kind of person, which is most of us, by the way, right? And it includes me, always trying to do something new, look into the future, trying to develop things. Well, that is overload. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just means that you're overloading yourself with too many tasks. All right, so let's just identify them for a moment. An overwhelm is slightly different, and you can have both of these things. Okay, you can have both these things together, but sometimes we're just overloaded. Sometimes we're just overwhelmed by the things we've got to do. So how do you know if you're overwhelmed? So your cognitive fatigue is the kind of official name for it. Look, it just means your brain is tired. You have been asked by whatever, your business, by society, by your family, okay, to take on more information than your brain can or your brain wants to. Yeah. And that's fatigue. That's brain fatigue. And that's normal, that's natural. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. Sensory overload, where we get too much information. Right? This is overwhelming. You get too much information. This happens a lot if you do a lot of screen time. If you spend a lot of time maybe on social media, a lot of time on television, especially with like negative things like the news, you have this overwhelm. Okay, you haven't done anything. You've just sat there, right? You've just read something. You haven't been off doing anything. You get this overwhelm, sensory overload. All right, so you might be able to spot some of these things as I'm talking. You go, well, I could do a little less of that and I could rectify. That's what I want you to do in this session. I want you to start thinking, well, I can do things about this. Some of you will think, I can't do anything, Carl. My life is so difficult. I can't do anything. But I promise you, you are wrong. I promise you that with the right guidance, you absolutely can overcome all of this. Burnout syndrome. Now, you might notice I call it a syndrome because according to the World Health Organization, there is no such thing as burnout. There is no evidence of it. They consider it to be a syndrome. In essence, what they're saying is burnout is just a combination of all these other things that I'm talking about. So it's not something that stands alone on its own. So when you're saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm burnt out," well, you might just have, a little bit too much um, tiredness, or a little bit too much sensory overload. Burnout is kind of a syndrome. It kind of encapsulates everything. Okay. Physical exhaustion, there's a good one, especially over our busy periods, yeah, like Christmas or when you don't have enough staff or something like that. And then we combine that with something else and we end up with a lot of overload. Um, Sometimes we can be over emotional. Yeah, maybe we get upset about things. Maybe we get angry about things. You recognize that, guys? Maybe you're very tearful. But when you have lots of over emotions, if we call them that, they're not in check. That's a really, really good sign that you are overwhelmed by what's going on. Now, you can be overwhelmed in a very good and happy way. Maybe that's happened to you, maybe when, I don't know, maybe someone in your family's got married. Yeah, we can get overwhelmed with that. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong. Yeah, it just means that we are reacting as human beings to emotional pressures. Confusion and memory loss. I'm only talking small, short-term things here. You just kind of forgot to do something, or you forgot where you put something. All right, or you've read some information and you've gone away and you kind of like, well, I'm no better off now than I was 10 minutes ago. I'm just confused by it all. For some of us, that could just be normal, right? But if it's happening more than usual, okay, these are all the signs, guys. If it's happening more than usual, you're overwhelmed, overloaded, or possibly both together. Anxiety. Right? We hear more and more about anxiety or panic. Okay, people go into panic mode. Um, it's a situation where you don't know how to react. You have no idea what direction to move into. So that's going to inset panic, right? It's going to inset anxiety. You could have physical things. It could be, where you're hot, or you're sweaty, or shakes. Now, I don't mean, severe shaking. If you're severely shaking, then you've got a medical issue that you need to seek attention for. But if you're maybe feeling a little unnerved, yeah, okay, these are these are kind of signs. Probably in my line of business where we're coaching salons all the time, the biggest one that you should be able to identify as being overloaded or overwhelmed or both is procrastination, where you end up, because of all this information, not doing anything at all or delaying things for so long. Yeah, maybe you've been, I don't know, planning on making some changes around the salon or the clinic, and it's gone on for 6 months. Maybe you've been thinking about getting staff, but you kind of procrastinating, trying to balance it up and trying to consider it. Yeah, these are all signs of overwhelm. Some people deal with it in a very kind of calm way, and some people get very anxious about it. It's all in the kind of, what do they call it? All in the spectrum, if you like, of being overloaded or overwhelmed. So these are kind of emotional or physical indicators. The reason we started here, you're probably thinking, Carl, well, I already know this. This happens to me. You've got to be able to recognize it in yourself. It's really, really easy, honestly, to be overwhelmed and not actually know it. Sometimes we are such high level operators, we can go flat out working for weeks and months, if not years, dealing firefighters. You're familiar with that, right? Firefighting, all of these different things, we don't actually know we're in that zone. But I'm going to give you something to help with that in a moment as well. Okay, I'm just checking on the comments. Sure, yeah, we've got a couple of people that says hi and good evening, which is fabulous. Thanks for joining us, guys. So I hope I'm kind of like easing you in gently and not giving you too much panic at the moment. So we are in this situation where we're overwhelmed, overloaded, or just, let's just use the word stressed, okay, over mainly our business. I can't deal with all your domestic situations as well, but they are connected in many, many cases. But the good news is this: the state of being overwhelmed or stressed is totally, totally, totally natural, and it keeps happening. And I just kind of like give you a couple of quick examples here. If you went out in your car tomorrow and you kind of just, I don't know, had a, what do they call it, a bump, say in a supermarket car park, you hit another car. Sure, that would be stressful. It might even be overwhelming. It might even create you lots of anxiety. It might be an incredibly bad experience. But you, as a person, are designed to bounce back. Yeah, most of us have had some type of car accident in the past where we didn't give up driving. One or two people will have. Okay, majority of us didn't. Majority of us dealt with that and we bounced back. It's the same with relationships, right? Maybe you've had bad relationships in the past. Maybe you've, I don't know, had a divorce or been dumped or whatever they call it these days. Well, the vast majority of people don't give up on relationships. They bounce back. Okay. What I want you to know is it's in all of us to bounce back. So no matter how you're feeling today, hopefully you're feeling positive and you're taking all this in because your head is clear. But even if you're not, if you are overwhelmed, maybe you've had a really tough weekend or a really tough month or year, okay, with your business, it is in all of us to bounce back. I just want you to know that you're not, um, you are special, but you're not special in the sense that you can't do it. It's just you've got to understand where you are. So this perpetual motion, that's what we're talking about. These things happen all the time. Things go wrong in your life all the time. All right. Little things, you burn the toast. Okay. You have an accident. Maybe you have a kind of a minor illness. You bounce back all of the time. It's called perpetual motion. But in your business, where you're not bouncing back, why does this keep happening to you? Whereas where you don't actually get over it and move on? Because this is a situation with a lot of businesses. And you look at your business. I mean, I had a business meeting with someone recently. We'll call it a business meeting. We had some communication where they explained to me that they had a business problem. And when we look back through their records, we identified they had the same problem 5 years ago. So this is someone who isn't bouncing back, who isn't overcoming the issues. This is someone who's really, really caught up in a difficult cycle. So if that's you, you got to ask yourself, well, what's stopping me? What would stop you from bouncing back from all of these difficulties? Assuming you don't have a medical condition, assuming that this is just in the natural realms of business ownership, well, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's mainly that you're disorganized. You got to have a reality check here. And the worst part of this is not that you're disorganized. The worst part here is you admit it to yourself. Now, if you ever find yourself saying you're not very good at something, my social media, yeah, it needs a lot of. I'm not just not very good at it, so I don't really know what to do. All right, so it's not that it's not just that you're not good at something; it's that you blame yourself. Now, when you're in this blame mode, well, that's going to bring your energy down. Okay, that's going to make you feel negative. And if you say it a few times about a few things, oh, I'm not very good at marketing. I'm not very good at retail. Oh, I'm the worst in the salon. I'm the worst in the spa at retail. So I'm not very good at marketing. I'm not very good at social media. I'm not very good at retail. Then you start believing that you're not very good at something. Okay, you start believing that you're not very good at dealing with most things in your business. And what happens? That you don't deal with them first of all because you think you're not very good at this, or why even try? Brings pressure on you. We become overwhelmed. So I mentioned you for the first time about being disorganized because I'm going to be mentioning it a lot as we go through this session. Hope everyone's okay. We will have a few laughs. We won't be taking a break, but we will have a Q&A session in a short while. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're doing great, guys. Told you that we'll try and stick to just under an hour with you if we can. All okay. Now, most of you will be familiar with the fight or flight, okay, situation scenario. It's human nature that when you're in a difficult position to go into fight or flight mode. Is everyone familiar with that? Basically means that when you're under a lot of pressure, you go into one of those two modes. We do it all the time, by the way. I do it. Everyone does it. You're either stuck in a situation where you want to fight or you're stuck in a situation where you want to get away from it. The reason I'm telling you this is because the next time it happens, I want you to see it in yourself. This is what's important about managing overwhelm and overload and business stress is that you see it in this kind of like the first step. Oh, I'm about to, I don't know, get into I don't mean a physical fight necessarily. I'm about to get into a situation. Oh, I can see I'm in fight mode or flight mode, right? I want you to see it in yourself. Now, one of them keeps you from dealing with organizational issues. So I'm talking about your business now. If you're in fight mode, yeah, you're firefighting, all right, or you're dealing with issues from the minute you walk in to the minute you walk out. Yeah, you got difficult staff, you got difficult clients, you got people not turning up, you don't rebook, you haven't got enough clients, your social media doesn't engage. Or you tell me, put it in the comments, guys, those kinds of things. Well, you're in fight mode. So you can't deal with organizational things. Most of you that have worked with me will know that I encourage you to reduce your working hours with regards to services so that we do have time to deal with this. Okay, so there's one solution for you. It's not part of the structure of this session, but that's the first thing that you can do. The other, which is the flight mode, pushes you into self-preservation mode. Like, I'm in a panic situation, I'm in a difficult situation. I'm either going to fight for it or I'm just going to get out of here. Right? Now, that also causes you difficulty as well because you're not around to deal with the issues. Let's dive a little bit more into that. Now, I haven't asked you to do much work tonight, but comment below if you have had a fight with a wild bear. I'm not expecting all of you to say yes. All right. I'd be surprised if any of you say yes, but I bet there's always someone who's had a fight with a wild bear. All right. Okay. I don't want evidence unless if you got the video and make a great TikTok entry, I'm sure. But I want you to kind of picture that you are in a fight with a wild bear. If you haven't, it's all right, okay? I haven't been in a fight with a wild bear, although, in all honesty, I did get close or too close to a bear on one occasion, and that was scary enough. If you haven't, look, use your imagination. All right, you're very creative, all of you. I'm pretty sure you can imagine what would happen if you were fighting a bear. Imagine now, right? Before we go any further, you are standing, I don't know, in your salon, okay, and a bear walks in and you get into a fight, or you're standing in a park, or you're wherever you are, and you're fighting a bear. Okay, I want you to think what was going through your mind when you're fighting this bear. So you've got these big claws, these big teeth, all right? Are you thinking, do you know what? I've really got to sort out this marketing strategy. And these big claws and these big teeth are coming at you. I got to do the appraisals tomorrow. I've got to increase sales. Yeah, I better give Carl a call. And I know I've got to get someone new, or I've got to get someone for maternity cover. Okay, or on Sunday I'm going to clean the car. Yeah, that's really important. Or what's for tea? Okay, apart from you, is that in your mind? Of course not. What's on your mind? Survival. You're in a fight, and this is what happens in your salon every day. You're fighting a bear. You can think of me tomorrow when you're fighting your bear. Yeah, this week, next month. You're fighting this bear. You're not thinking about all of the things that need to happen in your business. Maybe you do when you get home and you should be switched off or you should be winding down. But during, I don't know, let's say operating hours, not just opening hours, business operating hours, you're just thinking about surviving. How do I get through today, this week, this month? How do I make sure I have enough cash to pay the VAT bill? Have I got enough cash to pay the staff or pay myself? How do I get time to do the appraisals? How do I get time to have my one-one? How do I have time to spend with Carl? Okay, so look, when you're in, I told you tonight, fight and flight mode, you're in fight mode, it's just surviving. All right? You can't do anything else. The other option is that you're in flight mode. So you can see there's a couple of guys here, one's looking behind them. Maybe that bear is chasing them, right? And they're in flight. I'm going to get out of here. Now, with the flight mode, you've got to start thinking, well, what am I thinking about when I'm running away from a problem? This is what am I doing? What kind of situation am I getting myself out of? So when you're in flight mode, your natural instinct is to remove the stress as quick as you can. It's natural, guys. There's nothing wrong with you when you want to do this. We want to get rid of the stress. Some of us want to fight, okay? And some of us want to get the hell out of there. So, when you're in flight mode, the shortest answer is to get rid of that issue of the moment. But I promise you, it's not that issue that's the problem. It's that you're disorganized and you don't apply anything. That's the real cause, by the way, of why you're running away. But let me give you some examples of how you might, maybe you don't recognize this in yourself, but you will have seen this around other businesses. Simple examples, all right? Let's say you've had difficult staff for the last 5 years. Yeah, maybe they steal stuff from you. Maybe they keep leaving. Maybe they take their clients or your clients with them. Maybe they don't listen to you. Maybe they underperform. You know all that stuff, right? What's the instinct of some people is I've got to get rid of that. This is me in flight mode. If I get rid of staff, I get rid of all of them. All right, I get rid of all that pressure. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong for your individual business, but these are the types of reactions we have. VAT. This is a really, really common one. If I deregister for VAT, I no longer have to worry about VAT. I don't have to talk about it. I don't have to go to the accountant. I don't have to pay that collection or that tax bill at the end of every 3 months. If I stop being VAT registered, that goes away. Okay. Or maybe on a smaller scale. Do you know what? I can't fill a Tuesday. No matter what I think I'm doing, or no matter what I do, Tuesdays are never busy. I'll close. Now I'm going to worry about filling Tuesdays. I'm going to worry about rebooking. I'm going to worry about staffing. I'm going to worry about opening and closing. I'm going to worry about the lighting bill and the electric bill. Okay. That gets rid of the problem. So this is flight mode. That's let's get away from it. One of it is I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight the business, but nothing else can happen. The other one is I'm going to get rid of anything that causes me a problem. Not fix anything. That's why I'm saying if you were organized, you would fix it. But because you're disorganized, you can't fix it. You could be running between both these things, by the way. Maybe you're not a fighter or a flighter, if that's a real thing. Maybe you're running between both. Maybe sometimes you're fighting and sometimes you just haven't got the energy and you've had enough. I'm gonna get out of you. Okay. In the worst case scenarios or worst case situations, some people might even consider closing the business. No business, no business stress. That's what the flight mentality is. That doesn't get rid of your stress because you still got a mortgage to pay, you still got car bills to pay, you still got kids to pay for schooling or university or food or holidays or something like that. But in this moment, in this 6 month period or whatever, for a certain amount, that might be your thought. If I close this, the business goes, the business stress goes. And of course, that's logical and it's natural. But think of it like this. It doesn't matter if you're in flight mode or fight mode. You cannot be in growth mode and protection mode at the same time. You cannot grow your business if you're fighting. If you're fighting a bear, all right, we'll call. I think that'll be good for this group for the next week. If you're fighting a bear, you can't grow your business. You can't talk about business strategy and marketing campaigns and the next shiny thing, and next best service, how to improve retailing, how to get a coach. You can't do that if you're fighting. And if you're in flight, which is, I just get rid of everything. I want to get away from you. I want to get away from everything. I want to get rid of staff. I want to get rid of VAT. I want to get rid of cash. I want to get rid of everything. You can't grow your business either. So the step here is to realize I'm in that mode. And when I'm in that mode, I can't grow my business. It's impossible to be in the same space. Yeah, you can't occupy the same space. I can't fight or flight and grow at the same time. Okay, maybe I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but hopefully this is going into perspective. And so far through the session, what I'm saying to you is understand what overwhelm and overload is, see it in yourself. That's kind of the first part. Okay, and if any of these things are kind of resonating with you, well, you kind of your awareness is going to allow you to make some changes. Okay, now then, having kind of put you in that situation, what I want to do now with the next, yes, we got half of the workshop is I want to now start working on some solutions and some answers. Okay, I'm sure you're looking forward to. We've done the analysis. Let's get some answers. Okay, so first of all, this is what not to do. going to give you three things to stop doing if you like. The first thing, and easy things as well, by the way, don't associate with other people like you. Right? I don't mean you're not a nice person. I mean, someone who acts in the way you do. Don't associate with them. Now, these people are usually on social media on free platforms, and you'll see them. Just put a post up saying, "Anyone being quiet this week?" And you will have 100. Yep, me, and you'll see people going, "Yeah, yeah. Well, this because of the economy, and it's because of yeah, I don't know, the inflation, and it's because of fuel crisis, and it's because of the it'll be all you all agreeing. So first of all, don't associate with people like you. And I don't care if they are actually on social media or if they're down the pub with you. Wherever these people are, don't associate with them. They are going to bring you down. This especially, I put you, this includes family and friends. I would say it especially includes family and friends. You see, family and friends see you overwhelmed and stressed, and they love you. They love you. And in fact, I'll go further than this, they love you too much. So they want to put you into flight mode. Yeah. Your mum wants to say, "Oh, don't get stressed anymore, love. Give it up. It's only a job. Go and do something else. Change careers, stuff like that, right?" Your wife or your husband don't want to see you coming home all stressed and upset, and they definitely don't want you to come home and complain about all the stuff. And when you say, "I think I'm going to get rid of the staff," they'll say, "Yeah, I agree with you. They're nothing but trouble." Okay, so it's really, really important. Now, I put MNP as a big tab up here because I mentioned, I think, really early in the process, the membership group that I run. This is a great place to find people who are not like other people on social media. Okay, these people, some of them in here right now, and if you are, guys, thanks for joining us on this session. This is a great place to be, to find people who are trying to break that mold. Okay. Right. The next thing is not, these are things not to do, by the way. Don't solve problems by doing more of the same thing. So there's two things here. First of all, when I say that the same thing, I see many salons adding on services all of the time. And it's a discussion I have with someone all of the time. And they ask me, "Carl, shall I add that in? Shall I add ear extensions? Shall I add facial? Shall I add waxing?" The majority of the time, the answer is no, because that doesn't actually fix anything. We have a connection that an extra service is an extra sale, and an extra sale means that my business problems are lessened. Well, that isn't necessarily the case, because you still got to do staff training, you still got to have staff, you still got to manage the staff, you still got to retail. So don't solve problems by doing more of the same thing. I don't mean if you're doing something really good, don't keep doing it. If you're amazing at Botox, or if you're amazing at balayage, I don't mean don't do it. I mean, absolutely do it. But don't keep doing the same things, like, "I'll just add more services or more services and more services all the time." Now, you might think this is a funny thing to add in here, and I put an asterisk by it. Don't go on holiday. Now, I'm not telling you to not take time out and relax and enjoy your life, and and use it as part of dealing with stress. I'm not saying that. What I want you to think about, though, and this was more of a note for me to remember than for you to kind of do anything. If you're in long-term overwhelm, overload business stress, there's no point going on holiday. Because first of all, you're probably not going to enjoy the holiday that much, because you'll be worried that your staff aren't doing something, or if you work on your own, you've got to close for a week, and so you're going to lose wherever that's going to be, £1,000 in sales or something like that. But the real reason is that when you come back, it's still there. Nothing has changed, and in fact, you're worse off. So I want you to think about that as a situation as well. Don't try and solve the problem. This is flight mode, yeah? Holiday is flight mode. Don't try and solve the problem by running away, because when you're brought back, it's still there. The answer, as we're going to talk about in a moment, is getting organized. All right, you've got to deal with the problem so you can enjoy your holidays, and I hope you have many of them. The third and last thing for this session, in terms of don't do things, is don't deal with these things, overwhelm and overload, alone. Absolutely do not do this alone. Now, I've got two suggestions here for you. One of them is to join the Massive Not Passive group. So you're working with people who really understand me, but also understand where we're trying to take people with this issue and with all other business issues. And we put it all in context. But there's another opportunity here for you to work with someone else. So there might be someone in this group now. We're going to have it open for 2 weeks. By all means, why don't you buddy up with someone? Yeah, be brave. Put comments on the group saying I'd be willing to spend half an hour or an hour on Zoom with you for the next few weeks, so you can talk through this session. Okay, so I don't want you to get together and moan and complain. Okay, make each other worse. But look, here's Carl's session. We've both been through it. What did you think? What are you going to do? Yeah, what do you think I could do? How do you think there's a way out of this? So of course, working with me around the MNP group would be a really good choice, but working together might also be another good choice. Either way, it still stands. Do not do this on your own. Okay, it's too tough. You won't have perspective, and don't do it with your family because they love you too much. Okay, so those are the things not to do. So if I were you now, we've got a good 20 minutes left. This gets a little bit more challenging. We are now going to talk about what to do. So first of all, this is a practical solution. The first thing to do with all this overwhelm, all this information, all this stuff in your mind, I want you to do a brain dump. So a brain dump is a big pad like this and a pen, and you write down everything in your business. You can do your whole life if you want, but everything in your business that you think you have to do. Everything. I mean, literally everything. Yeah, I got a phone call. I got to kind of order stock. We'll do that in a moment. All kinds of things. Write every single thing down that you think you got to do. The first thing is you're probably not going to write down as much as you think you are. If I was asking you, like over a nice little chat, have you got a lot of things going on? Say, oh, Carl, I could fill a book. I bet you won't fill a page. I bet you couldn't write down a full page of A4 of things you've got to do, unless you start kind of, writing down things like must eat lunch. And that might be important for some people, right? Okay, really important. This is a brain dump. It's got to get out of your head. I got to free your head up. Okay, if it can go on paper, you don't have to remember it anymore, do you? Brain dump it. Make this one of your habits. Brain dump. Okay, I can't show you how much paperwork I have on my desk, but I go somewhere between 2 and 4 of these a week because I don't keep it here. I get it out onto there, I build a strategy, and then the majority of it can move on. Okay, brain dump. Now I want you to take another step. It's getting a bit technical now, but really, really important. See, this is the crux of this session, if you like. I want you got this big list, okay? I don't care if it's 10 pads, 10 pads, it won't be 10 pads, 10 pages of A4, but you got this page of A4 of all these things that you've got to do. By the side of them, I want you to write down if they are high importance, okay, urgent. I really need to do that now, today, tonight, okay, so urgently, maybe tomorrow at the worst, right? These are urgent. These will be, I don't know, maybe things like you've got to return the call of a client who wants to take you to court, okay, or maybe you've got to pay an electricity bill before they cut you off, okay, or maybe you've got to have a doctor's appointment because it's urgent. Write an H by all the ones that are like now. By the next lot, medium, right? Medium importance. Things that got to be done this week or next week. Just put an M by the side of them all. Now, I don't know what your situation is. Maybe you think they're all H's. Maybe you think they're all mediums. Okay, but this week or next week at a real, real push. So this week, I've got to get the ordering done. Yeah, at a push. Or a push, I could do it on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, or maybe it's something like that. Low, it needs doing, but I can delay that. So maybe it's kind of something like I don't know, you've got to fix I don't know, a leak, or you've got, in a radiator, or maybe you've got to order some extra Christmas stock or something like that, right? So yeah, it's got to be done, but I can delay it. So this is what you're going to have. So this is one of the pages from the MNP group, okay? These are all available in the MNP group for members. So these are just something that this is an example sheet. All right, you're going to have things like, a typical salon owner might have something like this. I got to have a coaching call with Carl. I got to order stock. I got to do staff training. I got to clean the staff room again. I got to schedule fire extinguisher check. I got to set up Valentine's promotions. I got to join the gym. Got to clean my car. I got to check opening hours. I got to paint the salon door, and I put at the bottom, I got to go to the pub. All right, I haven't read them all out, but you can see them for yourself. Okay, you get to go through this again because we're going to send you a copy of this. You can look at them. Now, you put the high priorities in there. Okay, so I got high coaching call, call on sales, because if I don't nail the sales, well, I'm not able to pay the bills. I'm not able to grow my business. Another H might be staff training, how to answer the phone. I can't afford my staff to not answer the phone correctly any longer. So it's like, hi, this is today. I got to have a call with Carl and sort out the phone. Okay, I got how to read a book. Okay, how to be assertive. All right, now some people aren't assertive. Maybe you know it's really really important to you. So you go through all these. You put my H's on them. Then you go through them again, and you put your mediums. Medium priority. Well, I got to clean the staff room because it's a kind of, it's a bit disgusting, but it's not high importance. It can last a week, but I've got to get that done. And then you put all your L's. So I got to book a holiday. Yeah, I've got to book a holiday, and I got to go to the pub. Now, some of you might put H by pub, right? I'm not judging you. You do whatever you want. But the reality is, you start off with your head full of information. You throw it down on a sheet of paper. You don't have to type it up like this, by the way. I've done this for you. You don't put it. You don't have to type it up. You just write it down on a piece of paper, and then you go through it. You go, yeah, that's really important. High, high, high. That's low, not important. Medium, medium, great. So now you've got your whole world on a piece of paper, and you now know the high is really important. The medium is kind of like maybe next week or the week after, and the low is, well, it's got to be done, but not for the future. Now, the first step I want you to take. This is a real action, guys. I'm not pulling your leg. The first action after you've done this list for me, once you've done this list for you, is I want you to do this. I want you to delete. Okay, you can get a piece of paper. You can get your low list. Okay, and throw it away. Okay, or you can just put it aside. You haven't got to be that dramatic. All right, you can put it aside because I promise you, your low list over the next 2 weeks will become your medium and high list. But you don't need it in your head for 2 or 3 weeks, do you? Why are you worrying about, I don't know, booking a holiday in, for August when it's only January? Maybe you want to save a little bit, but it's not high priority. High priority is paying the tax bill, paying the electrical bill, getting the stock order so you don't miss out on retail sales, disciplining a member of staff, recruiting a member of staff, rewarding a member of staff. They're high. Okay, so already you brain dump, high, medium, low, low in the bin. I'm only left with high and medium. Now, let's look at a typical or an example. It's not a typical at all. An example list. So you got this list. Let's say we're doing the high ones. Well, we'll just do high for now. Okay, we don't need to do them all. I think you're smart guys. You're with me on this. So high means, so you've got a list of high things, right? They should be done in the next few weeks, right? Next week or two, rather. So just dealing with the high things now. The low ones are in the bin, and you got high and a medium list. Okay, so you just got all these high things, all these list of things with H's by them. And I want you to put a number by that. Number one, I should have done it yesterday. This is like critical. This is life or business threatening, okay, or legal threatening. Okay, this is like should have done it yesterday. Number one. Must do it today. Number two. Three, tomorrow's fine. Okay. Four, this week will work. Okay. So you go through and you put them in the order of this high list, if you like. So let me give you an example of a list of how I would like you to do them. So here's an example. So the top list, okay, I've only put 6 things on there. So there's a top, it's a priority list, okay? So if there was 20 things on there, you'd go 1 to 20, okay? So coaching call with Carl is a high thing. Staff training is a high thing. Read a book is a high thing. Complete one-to-one meeting is a high thing. Set up annual appraisals is a high thing. Input data for pricing app, okay? That's a high thing. At the moment, you've just got that list with a H by the side of it. What I want you to do now is put them in order. Number 1, input data for pricing app is number 1. Read book on how to be assertive, number 2. Coaching call with Carl, number 3. Okay, look, you can see this. Your list will be different. Your list will have 10 things that are high priority. You then put them in order of 1 to 10. Okay, 1 being like, no, yesterday. Okay, 3 weeks ago. And 10 being, well, look, it is high, so it's got to be done in the next week or two, but it's not like killer. Are you with me? It's really, really important. If you can get to this stage, you are going to break the back of being overwhelmed and overloaded. I promise you. If you can master this, it seems like a lot of work. If you can't get this far, just stick with the high, medium, and throw the low away list for the time being. If you want to use that as a kind of your stepping pad, I'm okay with that. Okay, but if you can go to this level, you're going to break the back of it. I'm not going to do the medium list and I'm not going to do the low list, but you can see this, all right? You get your list of high things, you put them in the right order. Okay. Now, you hold yourself accountable. And what do? You only do one thing at a time. You only do number 1 thing on the high list and you finish it. If it's a call with Carl, if it's paying a bill, if it's painting a wall, if it's going to the pub, whatever's your high thing, right? You do that and you don't do anything else. Then you go to number 2 on your high list. Okay, and if you have to go home on number 3, you go home on number 3. And when you come in tomorrow, you continue. Number 3 is my my next priority. Number 4. When you get to the end of your high list, what happens? Well, your medium list jumps up, doesn't it? Your medium list jumps up to the high list and you go through them. Number 1 medium, number 2 medium. And when you get to the bottom of your mediums, you do a brain dump. Okay. Little tip here for you. When you're dealing with anything in your business, only ever work with completion dates in your mind or when you're planning something. Don't ever say, I'm going to start retail training next week. It doesn't mean anything. You can start everything next week. Okay. I can start a diet next week, but I won't finish it for 20 years. That's not going to be any use. So you have to say, I'm going to complete. I am going to deliver my retail training by, I don't know, the 10th of May. That way, you're not putting yourself under pressure for things that are going to go on for months and months and years and years and years. Okay, I'm going to complete my retail by the end of this year. That means retail is stuck in your head for a year. I'm going to deliver my new staff training for front of house by the 1st of June. Well, now it's only in your mind until the 1st of June because it's completed. Not I'll start it and because if I start it now, well, you might never finish it. Okay, really important tips. And I've already done this with you already. Work with a partner on this. Get someone on this group, in this group that we're in now, Overwhelmed and Overloaded, or dive onto Massive Not Passive. Get to work with one of the guys, or get to work with me if you like. I hold an accountability session on a Monday morning if you want to work with me on this list, okay? One thing at a time. Right, there's lots and lots and lots more to this, but I'm going to give you a kind of an insight, okay? We're coming up to the last 10 minutes, so I'm going to give you an insight to show you that there's more you can do. Please just do that, and you are going to be on the way to being a much better, much more organized business person with much lower overwhelm and stress. I promise you, okay? It works for me, it's worked for everyone that I've worked with. Okay, There are two other areas here, massive areas that I want you to kind of think about. I'm not going to coach you in these tonight. These are very deep things. So delegation and time management, and you'll see that I put an asterisk by time management and I've put MNP by the side of it. And that's because we have a fantastic time management session in MNP. And if you really want to know more about it, then we'll go in there some other time. And I'll show you an overview shortly. But delegation is the next area. And if we had time, and maybe in the next session that we do on Overwhelm, we'll talk about this. But delegation is the next area. What I just want you to think about in broad terms, are there things in your business that you are doing yourself personally as business owners? And I've just quickly got some stuff here: bookkeeping, payroll, social media yourself at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, ordering stock yourself, organizing holidays. I don't mean booking the holiday and getting on the cruise. I mean doing the paperwork in the salon, yeah, for your staff. Are you delivering salon services yourself? Are you doing haircuts? Are you doing facials yourself? Are you doing the decorating? Are you doing the repairs yourself? Are you doing cleaning? Someone told me the other day that they stayed after the salon closed every night to clean the business themselves. That's not running your business, okay? That's probably somewhere between fight and flight mode. You're in fight mode, fighting away at a problem where you got no time to run your business. All of these are just examples. You need to know that you are doing them because none of those things but there you need to do. It doesn't mean we can get rid of them overnight, especially the delivering salon services yourself. If you're the hairdresser, you may have to employ someone. You may have to increase someone else's hours. You may have to get a front of house. You may have to phase your hours out over the next year or 2 years. Okay. And you say, my deadline is, I'm doing 5 days now and I'm going down to 3 days. My deadline is, I don't know, the 1st September. But these are examples of when you're overwhelmed and overloaded, it's because you're doing this kind of stuff. It can also happen in your personal life. Are you doing all of the house cleaning, all of the ironing, all of the gardening, all of the dog walking, all of the childcare, all of the car cleaning, all of the laundry? Now, I know you can't just, well, Carl, I haven't got enough money. I can't be getting gardeners and cleaners and people to do my ironing. But the point isn't whether you can or not. The point is, if you need to free up time, these are the things you need to be aware of. And you need to say to yourself, well, I could. Yeah, I could maybe pay someone, I don't know, £20 to do the iron some shirts because I know I can earn £100 if I could free that time up. Maybe I could just get someone to cut my grass once every 2 weeks, okay, for £30 or whatever it is, or £50, because I know I can free up time. Now, I don't want to go into this too much because this takes a lot of discussion between you and I about the things you can and can't do. Look, there's business things you want to think about, they are your priority. And once you've cleared them up, you can look at your domestic things. Oh, there we go. Domestic things. Okay. There'll be other things as well. TV. Okay. How much TV do you watch? How much social media are you using up? Okay. So that's to do with delegation. But on the time management, there is a session. This is the academy, by the way, for massive, not passive. You can see all the sales things to do, your marketing, retailing, pricing, staffing. These are all training sessions. The most important session I've ever done is this one, time management. Okay, it's a full session. So if you do join us, you're gonna have access to that. Summary, guys. First of all, did you see I started off really calm and I got more excited as the session went on? Only because I'm passionate for you, I'm passionate with you, I'm passionate on your behalf because you all deserve better. You can all do better, and sometimes it only takes some small changes. So first of all, overwhelmed, overloaded is all about, it's natural. You just got to say to yourself, it's normal, it's natural. There's nothing wrong with me. Okay. But what I want you to do is be aware of it. The next thing you want to say to yourself is being organized is the answer. Yeah. Delegating is the answer. That's being organized, right? Listing all my things in the right order is organized. The answer, honestly, to overwhelm and overload is being organized. Taking small steps, one at a time in the right order, is the answer. Taking action, okay, and that means delegating as well, is the answer. And not doing it alone. I think this is the third or fourth time I've mentioned, do not do this alone. Dive in MNP, find someone great to work with, but make sure that you don't buddy up with the wrong people. They'll drag you down, right? You're probably thinking that you've got people around you like that already. I've already told you that Massive Not Passive is open, and we've got a link in the group if you want to take a look at it and get some more information. What I didn't tell you is that next Monday, if you're in the kind of south of England area in Reading, we have a session next Monday, and the first half of the day is building on this. We won't be repeating this, so you won't be wasting your time. But if you're in the Reading area, there is a link, and we're going to be working on this. But then we're going to be working on marketing and how to get attention. Okay, we haven't yet done that in MNP, so it's a new area for us. I want to say a big thank you. I managed to finish my part just before an hour, but I do want to give you the opportunity now to ask any questions that you want, and I'll try and get them answered. But of course, you can post throughout the week as well. You can inbox me if it's of a delicate nature. And above all, thank you so much for joining me. Okay, I'm going to dive into the group now. I'm going to stay here on screen, but I'm just going to pull up the page and see if you want to get some questions into the group and see if I can answer them for you. I thought I had them open earlier, but let's have a look. If I'm looking away from the screen, by the way, guys, from the camera, it's because I got another screen by here, and I don't want to miss anything. I don't want you to. Okay, where are we? Just gotta come into the group. Give me a second, guys. There we are. Right, let's have a look. Okay, we got Caroline McKnight. Did you say this information all on the MNP? Caroline, well, this video will go on to MNP, so now it is. The time management with that list of high, medium, low, yes, it is in MNP. All right, that whole process, including the delegation process, including the time management process, everything is in there. This will go in there as well as a little kind of top up, if you like. So nearly everything is in there. Yes. The link for Reading, Tina's dropped onto the group. Nazia says she agrees. In fact, Nazia agrees, and she says is true. Any questions, guys? We are bang on an hour, but I will stay here all evening. If you've got questions about tonight's presentation or about stress or overwhelm, then please ask them, because the whole idea of these workshops is to make sure that you can grow and develop yourself and your business. Okay, let's have a look. We got I can see lots of people around town. It's lovely to see you all, by the way. I can see Jody Marie, Janina. It's so lovely to see so many of you. We all know, don't we, that it's an important, really important subject for us all. Okay. Well, we are still live. I don't see any questions coming through. Like I said, if you don't feel like you want to ask questions now, you can do that on the group over the next few days or few hours. I'll answer them all, or please inbox me. Okay, great. In which case, I want to say a big thank you to you all for attending and staying right to the end as well. I really appreciate that. Shows a lot of respect. Don't forget to have a look at the Massive Not Passive group. Lots of you will benefit, not just for the overload overwhelm. It's a fabulous place to be for you to develop yourself and your business. And if you are in the Reading area next Monday, you can grab a ticket now. I think we've got one or two left. But let me just do a quick refresh before we leave you for the evening. I'm sure someone's okay. Oh, there you are, Joe. Hi, Joe. So we couldn't see you earlier. I'm due to take over the lease on the salon. I work on the 1st of June. Thanks for this. I can implement. Oh, brilliant, Joe. That is fabulous. It'd be good to catch up with you at some stage. You should really have a think about joining Massive Not Passive. But congratulations and good luck with the business as well. Just keeping things in perspective. with your stress, overwhelm, really kind of makes your business enjoyable. Nothing to do with you, Joe, but something that did come up many moons ago. Someone, when I was coaching someone, and we talked about having a front of house person, and we found them, or they found themselves actually, a fabulous front of house person. When I asked the front of house person, "What's your job?" So those of you that are thinking about maybe having a front of house, the front of house person actually said, "My job is to take everything I can off the owner so they can enjoy their business." Think about that. Yes, Caroline, we have done this in the past. Um, in a different way. This is a kind of, we did a fully loaded one. This is kind of just a bit of a top up. Okay, then, guys, are we all good? Okay, so I was just shouting across the office then, guys. Um, what happens is with Facebook, unless you refresh it, we don't see it. So I'm gonna. Okay, who's up north? Do. It didn't come through. Was it? Any events? Anna, I'm actually going to be going to Glasgow after we're done Reading. We're going to Glasgow in June the 10th. And then it depends what you mean north. Okay. If you mean Northern England, Leeds area, we will probably go to the Leeds area after that. Yeah, you probably, well, Halifax isn't near, but it's nearer to Leeds than Glasgow. We haven't said anything for Leeds, so no promises, but Glasgow is in the pipeline. Anna, please stay in touch. I'll make a note of your name, and if we decide to do one, if we do one, we'll do one this year. We're on a bit of a road trip. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we support salon owners, particularly massive not passive members, in their areas where possible. Okay. It's not easy for people to travel around the country all the time, so we're trying to get into their zones. So the answer is Reading next week, Glasgow in June, and if they're successful, then we will take a look at probably the Leeds area. Brilliant. Okay, Anna, you will be first on my list. If you come into MMP, you'll be top of the list. Right. Okay. Appreciate all your support. Inbox me if you have any more questions. Use this group this week. Thank you for your support. Fabulous session. Take care, guys. Have a great evening. Good night.